Why are some entrepreneurs able to easily move past their fears with absolute confidence and see their vision come alive, while most struggle to ever see the success that they want? Why is it that there always seems to be someone else achieving the results you want, even though you have access to the same course, program, or training that they have? And why is it that no matter how hard you try, study, focus, and work, there always seems to be a wall you hit, stopping you from ever moving past the level you're at right now, almost as if you have an invisible chain holding you back? The answer to these questions aren't hard to figure out, but it will require you to do something different. They will require you to think different, and they will require you to look outside of what you think you need to do, because let's be honest, if the answer to breaking that invisible chain and flipping your brain success switch on was as easy as just getting a better strategy or finding a better coach or working harder, then everyone who did that would see the success they want. And we know that isn't true. In fact, maybe exactly what you're doing right now. But by the end of this series, you'll not only have the answer to these questions and see what almost all successful entrepreneurs are doing to flip their brain success switch on, but you'll be one of the few to break out of this invisible trap almost all entrepreneurs miss, keeping them stuck as a trapped, hustling solopreneur who does everything right on paper and everything the gurus are telling them to do, but still never sees their full vision come to life. And you finally experience what it's like as an unleashed entrepreneur who not only thinks and acts like a seven-figure business owner, but actually becomes one. Because here's the deal. If you're here watching this series right now, you're an entrepreneur who to make a difference, to better people's lives, to make more of an impact, but you know something is off. You want more. You want more reach. You want more audience. You want more sales. And you want to improve this world and impact clients more and more each and every day. But it seems almost like the world won't let you. And you want to scream, I can help. My products are good. And every day, everyone else around you, all the gurus, all the experts, make you think you need to hustle more. You need the next course to get to the next level. You need a better coach, and launching and trying over and over and over again is the path. But you know better. You're an entrepreneur whose work and business are so important that you're willing to do things different, to look past the things that everyone else has told you to do that have led you to where you are right now. You're ready to be unleashed in the world and build a business that makes a difference. Become an entrepreneur that makes people wonder what it is that you know that they don't. And become an entrepreneur that is so confident and so impactful and so successful that you have no choice but to impact this world at the level you want. And your only limitation is just how big you can dream. And as you watch this life-changing series, you'll start to discover that anyone who sees success in business and in life all have one thing in common, whether they realize it or not. And all those strategies, coaches, mentors, courses, and working hard can help you find success, they don't actually flip your brain success switch on. There's something else going on, something deeper. And if you flip it, the results are faster and success is inevitable. People like Erin Mullins from Fit Rocker Chick, who was struggling to see a clear vision. And now she's launched a skin line and a clothing line that has been recognized by some of the industry leaders like IT Cosmetics and Chalene Johnson, all because she learned how to tap into these. And like Christina John Dolly, who learned to activate the success switch and within 30 days was invited on 3 major stages in front of thousands, sharing her message and converting over 150,000 on the back end of those events. She experienced a new level of operating, not because she learned something new, but because she got rid of something that was holding her back. And yes, there is a process to identifying what that invisible chain is, how to remove it, and how to program the subconscious to be aligned with the thinking and acting of a 7-figure entrepreneur and moving into the version of yourself who sees the results you want. So what did they learn that you haven't yet? Well, they all flipped that switch. They all realized that the newest strategy, the better coach, the next level course, and the bigger launch wasn't a result of how effective the steps were. but how effective they were. Think of it this way. Everyone can read a recipe on how to cook the perfect turkey for Thanksgiving, and you can give 100 people who have never cooked a turkey before access to the same professional chef to tell them what to do, but they won't all cook a great turkey. Some turkeys will taste better, some will be more dry. And if we look at the person while they're cooking, some of them will be so stressed out, and some of them will be having fun, some will be angry, and some may be happy. And here's the thing, all of them will move forward with that vision of a great turkey in their mind, and I'm sure you do the same thing. But they will all act and feel without thinking during the process. Some will automatically think, I should practice first, I need to prepare. And others will think, I can do this on Thanksgiving, I'll be fine. I don't care what happens as long as I have fun. Then during the cooking process, some will think, this is new and exciting. And others will think, oh my gosh, this has to be perfect. I'm so stressed out. Why is that? Why is it that they all have access to the same training, but they all get different results? And some hit their vision and others don't. And why is it that some have fun while others don't? Why is it that some are stressed out while others aren't? Why will some of them alter the recipe and think it's fun and exciting while others will be too scared to mess it up? And most importantly, why did they all have those thoughts, feel those emotions, and take those actions without ever once sitting down to think about how they wanted to feel, wanted to respond, or should act? Why did they all just do it? Because the way you think and act is subconsciously driven without you even realizing it. 90% of the time, it's the way your brain is wired. And right now, your subconscious could be wired to have you think and act in a way that won't produce the results you want, no matter how hard you try, train, invest, or manifest. You see, actions produce results. The actions of a failing business owner produce a failing business. The actions of a 7-figure business owner produce a 7-figure business because actions produce results. It's that simple, but most people never realize the way you think produces the actions you take and the results that you get. It's like driving a car. There's a gas pedal and a brake. The gas moves you forward, and in your business, you can set all the goals, get all the courses you need, get the best mentors, and even create the best vision boards and work on your personal development. And that would be like putting your foot on the gas, because all those things can help move you forward. But what most never realize is they actually have their foot on the brake at the exact same time, and they wonder why they're stuck. They're doing all the right things that can propel them forward with their foot on the brake at the same time. And this series is dedicated to helping you take your foot off the brake to your own success. This is the Invisible Success Switch Revolution. Hi, I'm Dr. Shannon Irvin, creator of the unique brain-based, science-backed success system, the Success Switch Method, and the Neuro Coaching Certification Program. And as a neuropsychologist and entrepreneur who understands the hidden struggles myself, I've taken a brain-based approach to helping entrepreneurs break through the entrepreneur glass ceiling by not giving them what they think they need, but by removing what they don't realize is stopping them, resulting in helping thousands of entrepreneurs to quickly neutralize and erase all the self-sabotaging thoughts that are putting the brakes on your results, and literally flip a success switch on in the brain. You see, we're on autopilot more than we realize. This autopilot drives us around based on how it is programmed. We can tell it where to go, we can give it a map, we can yell at it, but it will go where it is programmed to go. Think about this. If your friend says something to you that you think is insulting, do you respond instantly? Do you feel an emotion instantly? Of those things without thinking about how to respond? Most people do. They act without actually thinking about how to act in that scenario because your thinking works on autopilot without you realizing. And you could have that autopilot thinking going on right now that is creating actions that may be sabotaging your business. Here's how to know if you're suffering from this right now. You've tried taking action on the things you've learned, but the results aren't following. There are people in courses that you've taken that have seen faster results than you. You worked really hard and you still aren't seeing the results that you want. You've tried several types of businesses or products without success. You can't seem to achieve the promise of any course regardless of how hard you try. You see people using the same tactics as you, but they see huge success. And your growth seems slower than everyone else. And that begs the question, how do you fix it if we can't see it? Well, you're about to find out, and the rest of this series is dedicated to just that, helping you become an unleashed entrepreneur, because I am about to hand you the keys and literally share the secret to the brain-based, science-backed blueprint that will help you to flip the success switch on in your brain so that you can discover your purpose and your vision, become the go-to person in your niche, and create sold-out programs, and do all that without the hustle and work harder mentality, and get the newest strategy or tactic that all the internet gurus are trying to sell you. Because you are wired to think like a seven-figure entrepreneur and become unstoppable like them. So what's the first key? Well, like you could probably guess, the first key is understanding that getting rid of something is just as important as gaining something. In order to tell your autopilot to go to a new destination, you need to get rid of the old map first. You see, successful entrepreneurs see the world differently and act differently. It's the same reason why I can tell how much success someone has by having a 5-minute conversation with them. And it's usually because of what they perceive as the problem. The things a seven-figure entrepreneur sees as a problem are not the same things a trapped, hustling solopreneur views as a problem. So we need to get rid of the old autopilot map and install a new one. Both are equally as important. Now, in order to make this shift, we use 3 processes to do this, which I call clarify, erase, and automate. Let me explain. Like I mentioned earlier, your brain is currently set to think and act in a certain way, almost automatically, which is why you react to things without thinking about it. Heck, even the word react means to perform again. It's an automated brain-based action you take without your permission, which is why when you replace your automated actions for successful actions, you see success faster. What you automate, you create. But in order to replace your automated actions, you first need to erase the old self-sabotaging ones. When you erase the ones causing the problems that got you where you are right now and has kept you stuck, you can step into what has always been possible for you. You flip your brain's success switch on. But before you can erase anything, you need to know what you want to create so that you can identify what's actually stopping you, so you can know what to erase. We call this clarify. Together, clarify, erase, and automate created what I call the success switch method. All 3 have to work together, like a recipe, in order to get rid of all the old automatic maps and build a new one that is aligned with your vision and goals. Because you cannot outperform or out-hustle your subconscious. You have to purposefully automate it. Now, if you're ready for change, if you're ready to finally flip on the switch to success, you're ready to clarify, erase, and automate, then I'm ready for you. But be prepared. This series won't be hard. In fact, it's actually simple, but it will require you to do things differently. And ironically, it isn't something you can do alone. Otherwise, you would have already done it. So you have a choice. You can be like most on the hamster wheel, trying the same things over and over again, expecting different results. You can try to just think better or try harder, do more vision boards, and mimic successful entrepreneurs' new system and strategy, and then give up. And if that is you, I can't help. And I wish you good luck. But if you're the type of person that is ready to do things that only the most successful do so that you can have the results that only they can have, then video 2 is waiting for you. We're going to dive deeper into the first step, clarify. The very first step to flipping your brain's success switch on. So, which one will you choose? See you on video 2.
Hey, good to see you. Thank you so much for coming live to the Unleashed Entrepreneur. I want to know why you're in the room, what you're trying to create in 2024, because this entire live coaching series and video series is going to give you the keys to unlock and unleash things like you've never seen before. And I'm so excited to be with you for these 3 days. Let me know in the chat if you have been here and you've been coming to some of the free workshops that we've been doing over the last month. Unfocused to unleashed, unknown to unleash, unprofitable to unleashed. What are you trying to create in 2024? And here's what I know about you, because you're showing up here and you're really wanting to do something different. It's that you've tried, you've hustled, your foot's on the gas right now. I know this about you. Like, I know that you're driven. Write that in the chat. Like, I'm driven. If you're like, I want to do this, like I'm really wanting to create my business. I'm wanting to get it off the ground. I'm wanting to get it to 6 figures. I'm wanting to get it to 7 figures. That the fact that you put your head on the pillow at night and dream about what's potential. Like, I'm driven, but I feel stuck, right? I want this, but it just doesn't seem to work. And then here we are at the beginning of a year, we're doing things like smarter goals, which we've done year after year after year, and they don't work. Why? Because they work against how your brain is wired. So the next 3 sessions together, today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, I'm going to be live coaching you on how to flip your brain success switch on, to not have your brain working against you and finally have it working for you. Because here's what I know, you were called and you were meant for more. Like, your vision is so huge, you know that you could create it, but that feeling of walking through quicksand to try to get to it, chasing strategy after strategy, tactic after tactic, another guru after another guru telling you that this is the strategic thing to do, still knowing that there is this feeling like, I'm not sure, I don't know, I'm stuck, who will listen to me, imposter syndrome. These are the brake pedals that are firmly planted. If you saw the video that was leading in, it's video 1 of the Unleashed Entrepreneur video series. My driven, amazing, visionary entrepreneur, I know your foot is on the gas. Just like me when I was getting started, nobody had to motivate me to want it. Nobody had to motivate me to try. Nobody had to motivate me to learn. I had courses lined up like you wouldn't believe. But what I didn't know was that my foot was firmly on the brake at the same time in my mind, without my knowledge, without my permission. These beliefs of who's going to listen to me? What if I get it wrong? What if it isn't for me? What if I can't do this? What if I'm not smart enough, young enough, old enough, fill in the blank enough? What if my Aunt Ida will tell me, what are you doing? Like, the judgment, all the fears, more automations running from childhood. They're not even yours. They're not even mine. These are the subconscious belief patterns or brake pedal beliefs that are running and ruining the vision and the dream that you were called to, the destiny that is on your life. It's like you have your foot on the gas and your foot on the brake at the same time. Isn't that what it feels like? Like, you've got your foot on the gas, you're going, you're doing everything you can do, but it feels like something is just slowing it down, and it's not your fault. But after these 3 sessions together, these 3 trainings, and after you've watched the Unleashed Entrepreneur video series, you're going to be able to become an unleashed entrepreneur. You're going to be able to take your foot off of that brake and create momentum towards 6 figures, 7 figures, and beyond. This, my dear friend, is only thing that is holding you back. You have been searching for a strategy or a tactic or a magic elixir that was going to be the one thing that made it all work. But guess what? They do all work once your foot comes off the brake. These patterns of the past that aren't your fault, that you didn't choose, that were spoken around you as you were growing up about money, about worth, about your ability, your potential. These are patterns that your subconscious mind has now automated. Your brain is this powerful tool that once you learn how to flip that success switch on, which is exactly what I'm going to show you over the next 3 days, 3 sessions, really, you're going to be able to become so unleashed because you are no longer being governed by the patterns that aren't even yours. Can I get an amen on that? Can I get a hallelujah? Yes, finally, though that magic thing that you've been looking for has been inside of you the whole time. That vision, that mission, that calling that you cannot put to rest. You've tried. Oh my gosh, you've tried. Like, maybe I'll just go get a 9 to 5. Maybe I'll just, but you can't. You put your head on your pillow at night and there's the dream, there's the vision, there's the calling, the God-given calling. Your subconscious mind was given to you by God to be able to create success, but he gave you the tools to flip that success switch on. And unfortunately, 98% of people go through their world, go through their life, not realizing that the control to flip that switch is in their own hand. And then we grow up in an environment of origin, family of origin, whether it was amazing, horrible, or somewhere in between. We don't have to deep dive back there, but here's what I need you to know. That subconscious part of your mind is running 90% of your daily decisions, and therefore actions, and therefore results. So wait a minute. Dr. Shannon, you're telling me that this part of my brain is legit in control of 90% of what I decide, what I do, and therefore what I have? Yeah. And up to this moment together, you didn't know that actually you were in the driver's seat of deciding if you wanted to flip that success switch on or keep the automations from your childhood about money, worth, enoughness, your potential in the world, and continuing to let that run 90%. No wonder we have imposter syndrome. No wonder we feel stuck. No wonder we feel like it's unclear of a path to get there. Because the patterns of the past have been literally automated into our subconscious, and they are controlling 90% of our decisions, actions, and our results. I remember so clearly, by the way, if I haven't formally introduced myself, my name is Dr. Shannon Irvin, and I help entrepreneurs get to 6, 7, and even 8 figures in their business by flipping your success switch on, by creating a brain-based belief that automates where you're going, and by teaching you how to create a 67-day year, not a year's worth of goals, but a year's worth of goals in 67 days, because with this process, you are able to collapse time. And let's just be real. If I was able to, with a magic wand, I need to get a real one, but if a magic wand, I touched this camera right now and I said, I'm giving you $1 million in your bank account and your business is bringing in $1 million instantly. Who would take that? Tell me in the chat, who would take that deal that I'm like dubbing $1 million into your bank account? Just say me, or heck yeah, or sure, or of course, right? Because we think that that's what we're really wanting, right? But at the end of the day, if I said, okay, I'm going to do that, Renee, I love it, no brainer. I'm going to do that, but tomorrow is your last day. No more kids, no more family, no more vacations, no more time with the people you love. Would you take it? Would you want that? Tell me in the chat. Yeah. So really, it's a tool to get us the time and the freedom to be able to live life on our own terms with the people that we want, influencing them. I don't know about you. I am a person who my whole line of genealogy was going one way. And because I've learned how to flip my brain success switch on, and that's exactly what you're going to be learning, we went a different way. We have a different legacy. There's a different piece to this world. Not because I'm smart, not because I've got all the answers, but because I became obsessed with learning how to flip this brain success switch on. Just like you, I was hitting an entrepreneur glass ceiling. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where you look up and you see people getting past where you want to go. You see it's possible, but darn it, like you keep hitting your head on this glass ceiling and it hasn't happened. That was me. My business was going. I had a business, but it wasn't growing like I wanted to. I didn't have freedom. I was literally exchanging time for money, and it was feeling so heavy. And I knew like there had to be a way. So just like you, I was like, okay, let me find that secret strategy. And I did what every sane, wise entrepreneur would do. I hired a coach, drained my bank account, $50,000 to work with her because she looked like she had it all together. She had God first. She had her family second. She had her business third. Yet she had 3 multi-billion with a B businesses. She was at church. She was serving. She was honoring her family. And I figured she had some secret magic puzzle piece that if I just worked with her, I would find out. I know I'm not alone in that thought, that there's just one little thing. Except for what I found out was the one thing wasn't what I thought it was. I thought I was going to get the magical strategy, the magical tactic, the magical thing. And truth be told, I was wondering what I would see. Maybe I saw underneath that she had 1 million people working for her, and that's how it all worked. What I found out, which blew my mind, was that she was following the same tactics, strategies, and processes I was. There was nothing, strategically speaking, that she did different. But what I found was she thought differently about everything. She thought differently about money. In the chat, who knows they need to think differently about money? Put money in the chat. Just put money in the chat. She thought differently about her worth and her enoughness. Put confidence in the chat if that is you. It's like, I know I need to think differently about me, about my ability, my capacity in the world, right? She thought differently about her potential, her purpose, and how it was all going to happen. She actually had the audacity to believe that if God calls it, he supplies it, right? And all I noticed was my thinking did not match that thinking. And that was the only difference between her with the life that I wanted and me with the bruises on my head from that entrepreneur glass ceiling. I knew I was called. I knew I was meant to help people. I knew I was meant to and called to make a difference. And that began the obsession for me. Like, why does she think differently? Like, how can I get different thinking? Just say me if you're like, I want to get different thinking. Because if I thought like a millionaire, I could get to become that 7-figure business owner so much faster. Let me slow down on that. Because when I think like 7 figures, 7 figures becomes inevitable. 7 figures becomes inevitable. Okay, so what happened? I end up becoming so obsessed that I wanted to change my thinking and like, why does her brain work differently? How does the brain wire success like that? That I started learning like we all do, studying like we all do. And then I eventually went and got a PhD in neuropsychology. And I always say, not because I'm smart, not because I'm all that, but because I needed to solve me. I needed to find out, how do you wire a brain for success? How do you ditch these limitations? Put goodbye limitations in the chat. If you're just so over imposter syndrome, so over that stuck feeling, so over that feeling of not knowing and being unclear, so over that lack of confidence that has you second guessing every little thing that you think. Your intuition tells you this is the way, walk in it, and you give yourself 1,000 reasons why not to, like me. And I learned how the brain wires and fires together. I learned synaptic pruning. I learned these concepts in the scientific world. And at the same time, I was the only believer in that world. I'm a Christian. And so I was seeing what God was saying about our potential and our possibility and what science was saying. But here's the thing. They weren't trying to solve us as entrepreneurs. They were trying to create scientific principles, but they weren't trying to solve us. So I got to work because I had an invested interest in this. Like I wanted my business to 6 and then 7 figures, 2. And so I started trying to put these things together, these concepts that I was learning. And I'd ask the question, can we remove a limiting belief with synaptic pruning? And they would just tell me to simmer down and just learn the concepts. So I started putting concepts together. And what I found was that I was able to finally become unleashed. You're going to learn tomorrow and the next day the processes of this neurocoach model that allows you to do 2 key things. And you want to write this down. Number 1, it allows you to remove the brake pedal beliefs, meaning very simply be able to take them out of your brain so they no longer govern 90% of your decisions, actions, and results. Because when your foot goes off the brake, everything becomes possible. So just put brake if you're like, that alone would be a game changer for me. Just to remove that brake, just to get that brake, because you know it intuitively, right? Like intuitively, you know, like if I didn't feel this way, then all the gas pedal actions that I'm doing would be working, right? So the only reason they're not working, what I discovered, and I want to share with you, is that I unknowingly had my foot on the brake. Those automatic subconscious programs that I didn't create, they were created in my child of origin, my environment of origin, about money. I imagined driving through neighborhoods that of places I wanted to get when I hit 7 figures. And what I started to hear was the voice of my father on the backs of good people that have these homes. These people use people. My brain was trying to keep me away from success because my automation that was running about money was that if I became successful, I would use and abuse people and I would become a bad person. And my biggest core value is to be good and to serve deeply. Do you see how we put that in a bind? Isn't that crazy? So number 1, we're going to unpack how to remove those brake pedal beliefs. We're going to also unpack for you, how do you flip that success switch on? How do you actually create automations that run on autopilot so that what your vision is becomes so safe, so familiar that your brain literally like a magnet pulls it to you instead of you having to strive so hard. That exhausted feeling of striving, a feeling like that belief of if I just work hard enough, it will happen. And you're working your little booty off as hard as you can. That feeling of like, I can't possibly work any harder, yet work hard equals success isn't happening. So automating that success switch so that what you want in your business and in your life gets to become a magnet towards you instead of this old broken way of striving and working hard. Does anybody else have that story running the show that it should all work if you work hard enough, and then you do work hard enough and then it doesn't work exactly? And so then we start blaming ourselves. We start telling ourselves there's something wrong with us. Even if you hate it, Barbie. Yes. Like, even if I hate it, just work harder, just keep doing it. But now I'm not saying you're not going to work hard in your business, but what I am saying is right now, your brain is trying to keep you safe. Its job is to keep you aligned with everything that you have and nothing that you don't. Meaning the future, the vision boards, the goals, the dreams, those things actually put your brain in fight or flight and has your brain working against you. That's the only thing that has been going on that has been slowing you down. Isn't that good news? Can I get an amen on that? Isn't that good news? Because in the video series and in this training, we're going to show you how to unleash that for good. We're going to build brain-based belief patterns so that your brain, like a magnet, sees the vision as safe and pulls it to you. We're going to remove those brake pedal beliefs with a tool called the Mind Matrix that is so simple. As long as you can build with those big chunky Legos, you can actually move out any imposter syndrome, any belief, any pattern that has kept you stuck. And then finally, on Wednesday, we're going to take all those pieces and put them together. And I'm going to teach you what we love to call in our world the 67-day year. We're going to teach you how to utilize this tool once your success switch is flipped on of your brain, all working for you now to literally collapse time, to create a year's worth of goals in 67 days. Why? How is that possible? Because the brake pedal beliefs are no longer slowing it down. So where you can really start to get that time back. Listen, if the smarter goals worked, you would already have every goal, every vision, every dream that you ever wanted. If all the strategies and tactics all worked, which they do, by the way, you need a strategy to run a business. So I'm not saying you don't need a strategy. I'm just saying more than that, we need the operating system to become unleashed. We need to be able to train your brain. You cannot outperform your subconscious. You have to wire it. We have to flip that success switch on. And we've got to ditch the old broken ways of doing things and start to think like we're at 7 figures so that we can attract it so much faster. Because as you think, you become. And as you become, you have. And that's how the brain is wired. And so I want to dive into one piece of the puzzle today. But before I do that, I want to just make sure you know how to get to the video series. Now, I played video 1 for you as we were coming in the room. So some of you jumped in the room at different times. And so I want to make sure you know you can get to the video series by going to www.unleashedentrepreneur.com. And you'll see there, because we're so much alike, everybody's like, just give them one video and then open a video a day. If you're like me, you're ready to binge this, right? Binge in the chat. If you're like, this is exactly what I know has been stopping me and didn't know has been stopping me, I want to binge it all. So we have opened up all 4 days. There's only one video that I haven't opened up, and I'll open that up on Friday. So unleashedentrepreneur.com. Here's my ask. I want to challenge you to watch all 4 videos before we get back together tomorrow. And here's why. They're short. They're no more than 15 minutes. So you can just kind of put them through your day, and you're going to unpack for yourself the details of what has been stopping you and what will unleash you. So if you're a binge, I see my bingers. Now it's going to be up until next Monday. So you do have time to watch them. But I don't want you to waste another moment staying stuck. I don't want you to waste another moment in the lack of clarity, in the not knowing, in that feeling of being held back and restrained. Once you watch the 4 videos that are there, you're going to understand what's been holding you back, the steps to remove it, and how to get unleashed. And then together, we're going to go even deeper in this series together, unpacking the concepts. We're going to do some live coaching together. And my desire for you, my aim, my intention for these 3 days is that you go from where you are now, which might be feeling stuck, confused, unclear, or just plain not having the momentum. And I'd love to know in the chat, like, which one of those do you feel like right now? Like, even in January, we're optimistic, but we do have an economy going on, and there's lots of negative news coming up. And there's these brake pedal beliefs that keep us feeling like it's not possible for me. So I want you to go from there, just like I was, to learning how to flip that success switch on, learning how to remove those brake pedal beliefs, and then learning how to create not a year's worth of goals, but a year's worth of goals in 67 days. So we can start to speed up time. So you don't have to take 10 years to see that vision. Maybe it only will take you a year. Because once you unlock and unleash this part of your thinking, you start to build the thinking of a seven-figure entrepreneur, start to attract it to you. Your brain starts to believe it. Here's what I need you to know. Your brain does not need you to see it, to believe it. What? Yeah. We think we need to see it to believe. Once I have, my first client, then I will show up more on social media. Once I have 10,000 in the bank account, then I will feel safe. Your brain doesn't need that. We've been taught that outside in philosophy from our educational system. And if you're a teacher, I love you. Teachers are the best people in the world. But you do know, like, we grew up under an educational system that was created to make great employees. Yeah. In other words, raise your hand and ask for permission. You knew you had to go to the bathroom, but you still had to raise your hand and get someone else to give you permission to go do the thing that you knew you were called to go do. Now, don't get me wrong. If you are a teacher, I know that would create chaos, but you get the idea. We were indoctrinated into looking for permission. Anybody struggling with looking for permission to do the thing that you know you were called to do? Or how about this? We get our report card back and it's like, well, if it's an A, depending on your environment, you were a hero. If it was lower than that, it could have been very, very bad. So in other words, we're getting our credibility from the outside in, from what someone else values our work to be. So no wonder we give up our intuition. We need permission. We need validation. We need someone to say it's okay, because we've literally trained our nervous system to look outside of ourselves for the answers to what has been an internal God-given calling. And so what the Unleashed Entrepreneur video series and these 3 live days together are going to do is it's going to give that back to you, to be able to trust your intuition, to hear that still small voice, to no longer be governed by those brake pedal beliefs that have slowed you down time and time again and slowed me down, and to really flip that success switch on so that the vision and the dream and the desire of where you're headed draws it to you like a magnet. Now, I'm going to do my best to keep it short and powerful with you. I know you have things to go do, and I know you're going to binge watch the Unleashed Entrepreneur video series before we're back together tomorrow. Now, I do want to tell you, we're going to have some fun with this. So we're going to be giving away Amazon gift cards, one every single day. And here's how we're going to do it. Are you ready? Because I want you to play full out over these next 3 sessions together. If you're committed to that, say I'm committed in the chat. Say I'm committed in the chat. Now, here's a couple ways that you can get points for this Amazon, for this gift card that we're going to give you. One way is for you to share this video. So if you're sharing, if you're on Zoom, you can't share that. But if you'll see the replay come up right now, you're watching an Unleashed Entrepreneur, you share this video out. That's one way. The other way is for you to invite people. If you invite people in, how you'll do that is just make a connection with us, right? Make a connection with us and these people. And if we see they come in, you've got points. Because here's the thing. As you're walking through this, you want to do this with someone else. You've got a business best friend out there that's wanting to be able to unleash herself, unleash himself. And I know you want that for them too. So let's bring in a business best friend and get a chance to win that Amazon gift card. Just make sure that we know who it is. Get in our DMs, let us know, and we'll make sure that they're in. Send them the link to get registered. And that's how you can win points. So it's really giving the gift of having to help someone else become unleashed while you're becoming unleashed. And then tomorrow's main focus is going to be removing those brake pedal beliefs. How do we take the mind matrix? How do we take this tool and be done with those self-sucking, sabotaging scenarios that go on in our brain? I used to use a little voice and say it was this person on my shoulder, but then I ended up having a client with that name. So I don't use a name anymore, but you know what I'm talking about? That voice that sends on your shoulder that's telling you all the things that can't, won't, shouldn't, all those are going to be done. So tomorrow we're deep diving. Today was all about like unlocking and unleashing, getting you to know how your subconscious works and how you can outperform the subconscious. And tomorrow and the next day, we're going to be talking about flipping your brain success switch on, removing those self-sabotaging beliefs, and creating that 67-day year. So I do want to wrap it on that. Your assignment tonight, and that I hate using that word because it's more about I don't want to use that word either. You get to binge watch the Unleashed Entrepreneur video series at www.unleashedentrepreneur.com. Start unpacking that opportunity to really see what has been slowing you down and how to release the brake for good. And then we'll be back here live tomorrow, where I'm going to be deep diving and doing some live coaching on how to truly get unleashed. Now, I know in the chat, because I'm seeing some of our clients are in here, clients for the 67-day year, which will open up later in the week, where we walk you through this process. And we've had multiple go to from starting a business to 6 figures in the business in that 67 days, because just this one thing, we no longer have our foot on the brake. And we use how our brain will allow results instead of working against it. Who's excited about these trainings over the next couple of days and the video series? Tell me what you feel in the chat while I take a drink, and I'll tell you what's coming up next. I love it. I love it. You're starting to get the hope and the energy that I had when I was putting the NeuroCoach model together. When you realize you are not connected to the patterns of your past. You don't have to be held back from the vision and the calling that you desperately want. You don't have to just sit on the sidelines looking over at legacy and generational wealth being created. You actually get to take authority over the tool that God gave you to create the success that you are meant to have. You were destined for this. And now I am just so humbled to be able to give you the tool that no matter what you've done training-wise in the past, it all starts to work, because you will no longer have that success switch off. Your brain will start to believe it. We will move out those brake pedal beliefs, so the foot on the gas actually gets you to where you want to go. That's why we can create speed. That's why we can create a year's worth of goals in 67 days. Because when your foot is not on the brake any longer, your success becomes inevitable. Okay, so you know how to get points for the Amazon cards. I'm so excited to be able to do that. We're going to be looking at those DMs. We're going to be looking at the shares, so we can watch in there, and Facebook. We can watch in Instagram when you've shared it, and screenshot it, send it to us if you want to be doubly sure. Make sure you bookmark unleashedentrepreneur.com. Binge watch. My recommendation is start now. Like, if you learn that this is the only thing that's holding you back, the video series is going to really help you see it all. Start with video 1. go through video 4. We'll release video 5 together live, which is like how the map all goes together. We'll release that together on Wednesday. Okay. Now, this training is also going to be in replay. And I know not everybody is able to be live. You want to be here live because the next 2 days, especially, I'm going to be able to do some live coaching and bring you forward to coach you. And so you're definitely going to want to be in the room for that. But write this link down too. You'll see in the Unleashed Entrepreneur video series, there's a little button you can click to get to the replays for this. So that's what you're going to want to do. And the direct link to that is 67day, the number 67day replay.com. So those are the 2 places. Now I'm going to give you the number 1 priority. You're here live right now. Number 1 priority is the video series. Binge watch it if you can, right? And we're going to have a cool verbal quiz from the binge watchers tomorrow that you're going to be able to win some prizes. So if you've binge watched all 4, and I'm going to ask you some specific questions from the video series, and if you're answering them, you're going to get some instant prizes when we're live together. And my aim for this whole thing, the prizes, the video series, the live trainings, because just like I want you to become unleashed. I want you to believe it's possible. Use the tools, the brain-based tools to flip the success switch on and to create a year's worth of goals in 67 days and start to see momentum and accomplishment really happen fast. So as we wrap up, I would love to know in the chat, what is it that you want this year? I want you to declare it in the chat. What is it that you really want to see come to pass, that you're committed to? Because that's what we're going to go through together in 67-day years. We're going to actually take that thing and create your ability to make it happen faster than you ever thought possible. So what is it that you want to create? Are you wanting to create a new coaching business? Are you wanting your coaching business that you have to get to 6 figures or 7? Are you wanting to start something that you haven't started? Expand something? Are you wanting to, this is Unleashed Entrepreneur for a reason. Whether you're a coach, course creator, just getting started, you know that there's something you want to do to create legacy and freedom for your family, all the people that you're doing it for, right? That's when I did that $1 million exercise. So many of you were like, I wouldn't take it if I had to lose time with the people I'm doing it for. I want you to have that time and that freedom. It was my quest that took me to this psychology, the neuropsychology rooms to solve me. And I am not a special unicorn. I'm driven like you. I'm called like you. And I have the tools that will help you become unleashed so that you can see it faster than you thought possible. So to binge watch the video series, once again, the video series is called The Unleashed Entrepreneur. You're going to binge watch that at www.unleashedentrepreneur.com. There's 4 videos there. They're very short. Watch those 4. And then we'll be back together tomorrow, 12 p.m. Central, 10 a.m. Pacific. Tomorrow, we're going to have prizes. We're going to deep dive into removing those brake pedal beliefs and how to wire the brain to flip that success switch on. And we'll do some live coaching. And I will see you back here tomorrow at that time. Remember, we're together just such a short period, today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. And you're going to want to make sure it's in your calendar. Don't let anything get in the way, because when you know this is actually going to move the needle, you want to be there live to experience it, to get the tools to unlock and unleash what you have for 2024. Thank you for spending the time with me this morning. You're amazing. This is going to be your year. Why? Because you're not going to do it the way you've always done it, expecting a different result. Thank you, Einstein, for letting us know that definition of insanity, right? You're going to get the tools that you have access to already. Learn how to operate them so you flip that success switch on ditch the brake pedal beliefs, and create a year's worth of goals in 67 days. I'll see you back here live tomorrow, 12 p.m. Central. Binge watch the Unleashed Entrepreneur video series, and I cannot wait to see what you learn. Now, real quickly, as I'm wrapping up, we have a Facebook group that we're doing all the conversation in. There's links to that in your email. So as long as you get in, you'll get the link to that. And I'd love to hear, as soon as you're binging, get in that group and tell me what you're learning, okay? Get in that group and share what your ahas are, because as you do that, you're actually training your brain to want to automate the thing that you want to create. We got to automate what we want to create. We're not going to roll the dice and just hope it happens. We're going to train our brain to allow it. Cannot wait to see you till tomorrow. I'll see you on the video series, unleashedentrepreneur.com, and I'll see you in the group. Until then, bye for now.